when we're going to start our trig unit, it's really important that you guys are careful with what you're given. So if we have a right triangle, we know 2 out of the 3 sides. How would you guys find x? Really? Good job. The diagram here, do you know what it is? Oh, fantastic. Lily? Oh, Lily. Wow. You got 3 lilies on it. 3 lilies. Lily, which one has to be the C here? Good job. Yep. Make sure, guys, your hypotenuse is always going to be the x. So now the other parts go in. Okay. Let's see if you guys can figure out what is x going to equal.
5.
It's one of those triples that I learned last year. It's like 3, 4, 5,
Good job. Holy cow. So you guys remember that this is a triple. That's very good. So x is going to equal 5. It is good. Yep. 3, 4, 5, and there's another one 5, 12, 13. That's a common triple. Good job. All right. So when we have 2 out of 3 sides in a right triangle, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the other side. But what do we do if we only know one of the sides and maybe one angle? The only way we can do that is using SOH CAH TOA. All right. So when we have only one side, one angle given, we want to use SOH CAH TOA. If you have 2 sides, you can use Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Now SOH CAH TOA, you guys got this back in the day. Like they told you what it was. Now you have to memorize it. They don't give this to you on a reference sheet or anything, okay? So it's really important that we know the hypotenuse is always going to be across from the right angle, and the sine is going to be made up of the O over H. The cosine is going to be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. The tangent, the opposite over the adjacent. Using SOH CAH TOA, that just kind of helps you remember the ratio, the trig ratio. So just a nice little clue. So just to kind of start us off here, it's really important you guys are able to label, because if you can't label, you can't choose the right trig function. So you're going to start seeing this little like circle with a line through it. What that means is the Greek word theta. And it's actually a Greek letter called theta. And all that stands for is like a missing angle. Okay. So if you guys see that little 0 with like a slash through, it's nothing like special. It's like an X, right? It's just an unknown value. And they use that to represent a missing angle. So you're just going to see some more like upper level things kind of get thrown in. Okay. So we're going to be going off our angle. Okay. What I'm going to do is circle the angle that's given, and then I'm going to label according to this angle. So see, something's right next to the angle. That's the adjacent. Good. So 4 is going to be the adjacent. What's the 5 going to be since it's across? This is the H. Good. What about the 3? Opposite. Good job. Okay. Remember, the hypotenuse is always going to be across from the right angle. Now with this one, same deal. If I circle the angle, right, and then you label according to that, right, what do you guys think the 5 is going to be? Adjacent, exactly. What about the 13? Hypotenuse, good. And the 12 is the opposite, perfect. I don't know why I put the same triangle on here twice. You don't need to see that one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the first couple with you guys, and then the other class really pick this up kind of quick. So we'll see how you guys feel with it. We need, more practice. Okay. The big thing that we need to do is when you guys start this, make sure you understand what they're looking for. Here, we're missing a side, but we only know one side and one angle, so you have to use SOH CAH TOA. What we're going to do is we're going to start by circling your angle that's given. Okay, so I'm going to circle the angle, and then I'm going to label according to that angle. Only label the stuff that's like there. So what do you guys think the X is going to be? Opposite. What about the 15? Oh, Brittany, great. Okay. What this tells you guys, right, the O and the H, right, because the only one that has the O and the H is the sign, that's what we're going to use. Okay. Good, yes. Now when you set this up, you always want to make sure that the sine or tangent or cosine, whatever the trig part is, has to go next to an angle. Like See how you have like little A's up here? So it's always the sine of the angle, the cosine of the angle, the tangent of the angle. Yes. Exactly. Yep. So whatever the angle is, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything. It could be an x. It could be a number. That has to go next to the trig function. So my angle here was 35. Okay. Now when we set it equal to our ratio, we want to make sure we go in order. It's opposite over hypotenuse. So make sure it goes x over 15. Okay. Once you have it set up, we're going to create a proportion and cross multiply. Okay. It's important that you guys actually show all your work from the cross multiplying because sometimes we might have an extra step. So when we cross multiply, we're taking 15 times the sine of 35. And you want to be careful. You want this number to almost go out in front. 15 times the sine of 35. Okay. Make sure you're not doing 35 times 15 and taking the sine. You're going to get something totally different. Okay. So always put this out in front. Now, on the other side, you're doing 1 times x, which is just x. Great. So, is the x alone? Okay, once our x is alone, now we can use our calculators. Watch out though, especially if you have your own calculator, this is where it's going to matter. You need to make sure your mode is in degree. So right now, make sure you're in degree mode. Okay, so go to your mode key. Make sure degree is highlighted, okay? If you are not on degree, your answer is going to be messed up.
No? If you did the sine 35 first, was it?
And then times by 15?
Yeah, because I didn't recall that, I just did 0.57.
You don't want to do that because of the rounding. Like eventually it'll throw off your final answer so much. You know what I mean? That it would throw off rounding stuff. So when we put this in, right, 15 times sine 35, 15 times sine 35, okay? 8.6? You got something different right here. Yep, 8.6. So, yeah, let's go to your 10. This is it?
How many?
Let's go 10 for all this stuff. Alright, so again, I'm going to do a couple more with you guys, alright, and then we'll kind of see how you do. So, you start by circling your angle. Right? From that angle, do your labels. Okay? So we want to think, what is the 20 if it's right next to it? Adjacent. Okay? What do you guys think the x is? Hypotenuse, because it's across from the right angle. Good. So that's going to be which trig function? Nice, Katie. Cosine. So we're going to start with the cosine. What's your angle right next to the trig function? All right, adjacent over the hypotenuse. Make sure you're okay with setting it up. 20 over x. I'm going to put that 41 over 1. This is why I don't want you guys to use your calculators until you have x alone. Because if you cross multiply here, well, we have x times cosine 41. So let's write it out. X times cosine 41 equals, on the other side, 1 times 20 is just 20. But to get x alone, how do you guys think you separate? Oh, good job. We're going to divide by cosine 41. Good job. So now, x is by itself. Now we can use our calculator. So 20 divided by cosine 41. 26.5. Yes, nice job. Good job. Equals 26.5. Perfect. Okay, we'll do another one, you guys. Alright. Okay, so let's circle and we'll do our label. So according to that 30, x is what? Opposite. What about this one? Good. Okay. So we should be using sine. Good. So sine 30 equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. Alright. So once we're set up, let's do our cross multiply. Okay. 20 times sine 30 equals, well, 1 times x is just x. So this is nice. X is alone. 20 times sine 30. And we get 10. So x should equal 10. Okay. Why don't don't you guys try the next 4? Alright, so why don't you guys try the next 4, right? If you want to come up and write them off the board, it would be awesome. I'll check them for you. So, come on down. Alright, you think you got them? Oh, good. Wait, it's going. Alright, so this is what you guys should have if you filled out the rest. Just double check your answers. We have good work up here. Alright, so here's this time we're going to find a missing angle. And here's what you guys want to think about. Little jingle. If you're missing the degree, use second function key. Yeah, it always works, okay? So if you're missing the degree, now we have to use the second function key to find it. Right. So notice, Kaylin, which is kind of what you asked me. See how here, next to your trig function, you have missing things, like the variable now, right? It's not a number anymore. So if we don't know what that is, we're going to have to use our second function key. So all we're going to do is we're going to hit now second tan. Okay, so we're going to go to your second tangent button. And now we just type in whatever whatever your fraction is. We're just going to type in 5/3. So we're going to type in 5/3 after that. Okay, let's go nearest degree for all this stuff. So we get 59 degrees. Okay, so this one's going to be x equals 59 degrees. Why don't you guys try the next one? What's theta going to equal? Use second cosine 1/2. 16, very nice. Yep, just a variable. Okay. And then here a is going to equal what, right? 60. Now one thing I just want to show you guys, because this is going to come up eventually again, is that when we are working with a radical, and if you guys do second sine, and we go to do our radical 3, make sure the radical is only around the 3, right? So we got to tab it over, and then do divided by 2. Okay? Or if you have a different type of calculator, close your parentheses, and then do divided by 2, and get 62. So just make sure the radical doesn't continue. All right, super. So, what we're going to do to finish this part, okay, these are way easier than the other ones. We're going to start the same way by circling your angle, okay, and then do your labels according to this angle. So 6 is going to be our opposite. 9, since it's right next to it, is the adjacent. So what do you guys have? We got an O, we got an A. Tangent, good. And remember, the only thing that can get smushed next to those trig functions is the angle. So tangent of x. Watch your little fraction, make sure it's set up okay. So opposite over the adjacent.
Are we going to diminish?
Yeah, let's go nearest degree. So now it's set up just like you guys did up here. So all we have to do is hit second tan. Okay, 6 divided by 9. And nearest degree, 34. You got it. Good job. So x is going to equal 34 degrees here. No, it's not bad. You don't remember degrees. That's fine. Okay. Alright, you want to see another one first real quick? Okay, so example 2, we're going to circle our angle. Look across. This is going to be the O. What's the 24 going to be? Oh, H, you're right. So that's okay, Gail. So we're going to do sine of x. And watch your order. Opposite over the hypotenuse. Alright, so we have to do second sine. 12 divided by 24. We get 30. Why don't you guys see if you could try the next 3? Maybe get some volunteers. Don't be shy. Okay. Once you guys finish these 3, right, I would love if you could go to the back of the room and see how I have with the little thing over there. Here's what you guys should have once you complete the sheet. Check out your work. Good luck.